Welcome to episode 69 of Chew on This, a Nerd United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic.
We want to welcome you to the 2017 first annual Chewies Award award show. And tonight's show is sponsored by us through Patreon. So you could if you go to patreon.com/chew on this podcast, you can donate or sponsor, become part of the Chew crew, and get some really, really kick-ass rewards from us. So that's Patreon. That's patreon.com/chew on this podcast.
And that music you heard, that was original music by, of course, Kenny Sheldon, who does all the music, practically all the music for us, for every one of these special shows. Man, it was, most people don't understand how difficult what he just did was. And because he basically created an entire orchestra just by himself through the computer. And I think he used the real instruments too, the ones that he actually had access to, so... He basically composed this shit, on a laptop. So again,
thanks, Kenny.
If you haven't started using music from Kenny or inquiring about him, please do contact us on Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, or whatever, and just let us, and we'll put you guys in contact with Kenny. So we're here.
He's for hire.
Yeah, please hire him so he can stop doing the shit for free for us. So here we are at the 2017 Chewie Awards. It's our first one, so let's explain what the Chewies are. The Chewies are our award show, and the first thing that came to my mind when I said let's do an award show was I don't give a shit about awards. I fucking think they're stupid. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to talk about them, and then it led into like an entire episode of let's just give awards out. So we did a top 10. Yeah, we did a top 10, a revised top 10 for 2017, or I'm sorry, the end of 2016. So these are all the movies. It breaks it down even more. We've got best actor, we've got best effects, best diversity, worst diversity, all these categories you're going to hear that you've probably seen already on Facebook. And, what am I missing here? That we just wanted to talk about this even more depth? Like all these movies that we saw.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, there's the Oscars, there's the Razzies, there's the Golden Globes and all that crap. But this is the Chewies. This is the movies that we saw, that we loved, and we narrowed down the categories.
Or hated.
And we just kind of just picked the movies that we felt went with the categories, and then we have a winner. And we'll go into a little bit in depth in that. So this will be kind of a neat once-a-year event that we do. So let's go on to the first category.
All right, so the first category is the Mr. Magoo Award. Now, let's a little explanation of what's Mr. Magoo. Please don't sue us if you're listening, whoever owns Mr. Magoo. Basically, why we chose this is if you've ever seen, this is dating us too. This is showing how old we are. If you've ever seen a Mr. Magoo cartoon, he's blind as shit. He's just an old guy that somehow never dies. He's just blind. He walks into shit, like drives a car, I think. Like, I don't know how he's not dead. He should be dead because he can't see shit. So why we named this category the Mr. Magoo Award is because this award goes to the movie, basically like the writer, director, or all the writers basically and the director who have put a movie out there and it doesn't even look like they've actually like seen the source material. Like they didn't know what the hell they were doing when they did this movie. So our 2017 winner this year is Batman v Superman, and that goes to director Zack Snyder, writers David Goyer and Chris Terrios. For the Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were doing last year. We've gone into so much in depth over this movie over the last year. It's been a year since that movie came out almost.
Oh, wow.
And we're still
pissed.
Ripping it apart.
I'm still going to be pissed with this movie. I mean, I seriously would love this movie even more. If I would love this movie if it was like Batman and Robin. That's how much I hate this movie. That I would like it more if it had nipples in the batsuit.
Right, it's not a guilty pleasure movie. In other words, it's just
so
a shitty
it's
movie.
Not that it's not hating on DC. It's the fact that when you're watching this shit, that it doesn't even look like, it doesn't even feel like Superman. It doesn't feel like Batman. It feels like these guys have never read a goddamn comic book of any of these characters, and they just put this shit on screen what they think they want to see, and in a really poor way. So that's why Batman v Superman wins the 2017 Mr. Magoo Award. We should probably asterisk that so that the people whoever owns Mr. Magoo, please, it's just a joke. Don't sue us.
Yeah, no, we love you, Mr. Magoo, more than we do Batman v Superman. Okay,
Yeah.
so next category. Let's go on to the next category. Let's go to best effects, and these are the movies that we felt had the really good visual effects. And we have 4 movies, pretty much in every category. So the first movie is Captain America: Civil War. The second is Rogue One. The third movie we felt had best effects would be Jungle Book, and lastly we have Star Trek Beyond. Um, so let's just go down just the list very quickly. Captain America had that 17-minute sequence that we have just gushed over for the last almost year, since that movie came out. And that sequence still does not get old. It's fantastic. Giant Man. I mean, there's really nothing more you could say about that. Rogue One, which just came out. Again, they use a lot of practical effects. There was a lot of CG work too, but it's just done so well. It's very seamless. The K2SO robot was just fantastic. It wasn't even there. It was an actor, and they just replaced it with a robot. Really, really awesome effects. Jungle Book, I mean, really not a whole lot to talk about that because that's just all. None of those animals are there. None of that scenery is there. It's incredible the amount of work went into that to kind of show like, this little boy like reacting to all that stuff. But you think that stuff is there. It's amazing. And then Star Trek Beyond, of course. I mean, Star Trek is very heavy in visual effects, and the effect of the ship actually crashing and all that was just very, really exciting. So they had some really good effects in that. So out of the 4, the winner is. We need a little drum roll or something here. Come on, Kenny, you're slacking, bud. The winner is Jungle Book for special effects.
Yeah, I felt like this movie it doesn't work if the effects don't work. Basically, this movie is just there's nothing. There's just a kid there talking to like a green balloon, basically. And if there's no emotion from the CG characters, this movie just doesn't work. And this is one of our favorite movies of last year. Like Rogue One did the CG characters of Leia and Grand Moff Tarkin, but I felt emotionally to carry the entire film with nothing but CG background basically, and CG characters other than Mowgli. Both of us felt like this movie was just too good not to give it the effects award. Best
Yeah,
effects.
Life of Pi, kind of paved the way for this movie. This movie's now paving the way for Lion King, which we'll go into that at some point because it's amazing news on that movie. But yeah, Jungle Book, just fantastic effects.
All right, so because we have some of these, we have 2 categories for the same thing. So we just gave you the best effects award. This is the worst effects nominees. Independence Day Resurgence. This again is CG heavy, but this is what happens when the movie kind of doesn't give you great CG effects, and you're just kind of left with like they're just running on a green screen. It just doesn't have any feel to it. Suicide Squad. Oh man, the whole fire monster. I don't even remember the name. This movie just blows. But the whole ending sequence when there's garbage flying in the air and the the henchmen, the pointless henchmen that turn into dust. We actually have a surprise in the worst effects, which is Deadpool. It didn't have a lot of effects, but I felt like it wasted a golden opportunity with that ending, and it looked really bad. Especially when they're just like after the aircraft carrier falls and they're just standing there talking to each other. Everything looks so fake, where they spent so much time doing things that were kind of realistic. And then X-Men Apocalypse, the ending again was just over the top, unnecessary. Actually, they had garbage flying in the air too. That's just kind of weird that 2 movies had garbage flying in the air.
No, actually 3 out of the 4 movies, because Independence Day had all those creatures flying around in circles.
But it wasn't garbage.
But it was still flying around.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. All the ships were flying around the main mother alien, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So the winner of the worst effects in 2017, the Chewie goes to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I have to totally agree with that. That was not very good effects whatsoever in that movie, especially with the enchantress at the end. It was awful,
or basically the whole time.
awful.
All right, so the next category we're gonna go into best actor. Yeah, we changed
Awesome.
these up a little bit. We like putting things out of order the way that we're doing this. Uh,
Yeah, it's
so
more fun.
best actor. So nominees are John Goodman for 10 Cloverfield Lane, Ben Mendelsohn from. Am I even saying that right? Ben
I think it's
Mendel
Mendelssohn.
Mendelsohn
Mendelssohn.
from Rogue One, Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, uh, Idris Elba Jungle Book. Any of these kind of stand out on why we gave him the best actor
Well,
nominee?
I really liked. Well, I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane. I love John Goodman. He's always good in pretty much everything he
Yeah, he
does.
played a crazy guy really well. I mean, he basically
Really
carries
creepy.
he carries like 70% of that movie because they're stuck in that bunker and you have no idea like when he's going to go off. Like the biggest threat of that movie is not the aliens, it's John Goodman.
Yeah, I mean, his whole like he tells a lot of like you never know when he's lying or telling the truth because the I don't know I don't know, spoil this or not, but I mean the big reveal he was actually telling the truth all along,
Yeah.
but the little things he was lying about, like his daughter, and all that stuff. Yeah, very creepy. Ben Mendelsohn, I really like him. He's really an up and coming. He's been around for a long time, but like lately, I've seen him in a lot of things, and he's just really good, really solid actor. Like
Yeah.
there's a show called Bloodline on Netflix that he was in the first season of that. He was just phenomenal, and then he's not back in the other season, so like it suffered greatly without him.
You can
But
probably
yeah,
say
no,
he's
awesome
probably more menacing and a little bit on edge than a Grand Moff Tarkin. Tarkin's very
Oh man,
kind of straight edge, kind
for
of just plays it
for
straight.
sure. Yeah,
Mendelsohn, I think his name's Krennic in
so
the movie, right?
reactionary, just really reactionary.
It's Krennic, right? His name's Krennic in the movie.
Yeah, Krennic,
Yeah,
Krennic.
he.
Yeah,
I mean, there's times when he's very calm, like the first time you meet him, but then there's other times where he's just teetering on the edge because Moff Tarkin's fucking with him. Or actually, he's not Moff at that time, is he? But anyway, so
both Tarkin. Yeah,
yeah,
all the people are messing with him.
Ryan
Um,
Reynolds. I
Ryan,
mean, this was
yeah,
this was this was one of the easiest categories to do because when we were trying to figure out, like, I mean, who blew us away with their portrayal of a actor of the movies that we've seen, it was hands down Ryan Reynolds
yeah.
portraying
Oh, for
Deadpool.
sure.
I mean, he's Deadpool.
Yeah,
It's the same thing as like Tony Stark is Robert Downey Jr. It's the same thing.
absolutely.
And then of
So you
course,
pretty much gave away. You pretty much gave away the winner.
oh, I did. I thought I already announced the winner.
No, it doesn't matter
Oh, I
because
did it.
he's the obvious winner. He's the obvious winner out of all those guys because
This is
he's
why I hate.
just,
This is
he
why I
that
hate
guy.
award shows. This is why I hate award shows. I'd
That
rather just talk about it.
Yeah, he like flipped the card out a little too soon. No, but
Yeah.
Idris Elba was great. It was great as Shah Khan or whatever. Was it Shah Khan or
Shere
whatever?
Khan, Shere Khan, or something
Yeah,
like that.
he was great. He was great. Just an awesome voice actor. But Ryan Reynolds obviously just he killed it.
I
So
mean, he's been Deadpool the whole time. He just never was Deadpool till this movie.
yeah,
I
pretty
mean, if you've seen him in anything, he's always been Deadpool. He just
from
didn't
day
have a
one.
movie.
Yeah, when he was born, Deadpool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was cursing right
high
out of the
school
womb.
Deadpool. And now he's like, I guess he's co-writing an X-Force movie. Oh shit. Anyway, it's some cool shit coming out. So that brings us to the worst actor category, and like the best actor one, this was not difficult to put together this list.
Yeah, don't spoil it
Okay.
like I did.
I'm not going to. So the first person we have in the worst actor category is Jesse Eisenberg for Batman v Superman, and he played, of course, Lex Luthor, a whiny, I need to go to a taxi station to pick up some power converters type of character, just very whiny, and he was pretty much what Mark Zuckerberg type character, very reactionary and very. I don't even know what to say. Just not powerful like Lex Luthor. And if he had any kind of like smarts, he didn't really, I don't know, portray that very well either. Oscar Isaac, he was Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. And we've talked about that movie where he just, I don't know, he's a good looking dude, like Idris Elba is, and so why put all that prosthetics on? I know he's supposed to be Apocalypse, but still, it would have been kind of nice to see actually Oscar Isaac. The character is very lackluster. Just like some of the other Marvel movies, he's supposed to be the end all be all of mutants, and they punked him like a bitch. Ben Foster, he's like a really good actor, and I was really surprised he was in Warcraft. But his character was way over the top and ridiculous in that movie. I mean, like laughable. He reminded me of like the cheesy '80s movies, but not as good. And then of course lastly we have Jared Leto, uh, who played the Joker in Suicide Squad. Very over the top, Mambo King type, gang leader, John Leguizamo type character, and it just didn't fucking work. It was terrible. Um, every time he was on screen, he was annoying, and like the director said recently, "Oh, I should have made him the main villain." No, you did. It just would have been the same, if not worse, than the freaking Enchantress. So it really doesn't matter. That movie sucked. So anyway, so who do you think we should give the award to for worst actor? You could probably guess. We picked Jesse Eisenberg. Just beyond annoying.
And it basically just came down to this. It came down to Leto and it came down to Eisenberg. And the reason why we gave it to Eisenberg is because he's the main bad guy. And in no world, even if he threatened me like he was like when he gave that senator like the Jolly Rancher, like in no world do I not knock that fucking kid out. Like there's no like he might be able to call the military afterwards, but I'm beating the shit out of that guy before he does that. There's nothing scary about that guy. And the Joker, Leto's Joker was awful too, but he wasn't the main bad guy. So that's
Yeah.
literally the only reason why we gave the Chewie 2017 worst actor to Jesse Eisenberg. So
Yeah,
congrats, Jesse.
I suppose you could try and give the award to two people, but that I've never heard of that before. So we had to give it to just one person. And
This
yeah, I mean,
I'm guessing
good
like
line.
I'm guessing out of the next couple years or whatever, unless Leto and Eisenberg are in another movie portraying these same characters, there's not going to be a year where they're so close. Because if this happens again, like if both of these guys are in Justice League, we might have to give out like a co-worst actor awards.
We can do what we want. That's
Yeah.
actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
If they're both on the screen at the same time,
Oh
I'm
my
just
God.
gonna throw a.
I'm
I'm
just
gonna throw a melted Snickers bar at the screen. That's just it's gonna look like a piece of shit, like sliding down the screen.
I want to bring a lightsaber to Justice League just to piss people off.
Wear a
Like, look
Spider-Man
at that.
outfit.
Yeah. Like, look at that guy. He's in a Spider-Man outfit and a lightsaber. What a douchebag. I'm like, look at all these fucking DC people pissed off at me right now.
Right. I'll I'll dress up. I'll dress up like
And then
Gandalf
wrapped
or something
around
like that. And wear the Iron Man mask.
wrapped around my Spider-Man neck is a scarf from Hogwarts.
A
Like
real
Gryffindor.
Warner Brothers.
It's a Gryffindor
shit,
scarf.
Yeah. A Gryffindor scarf.
All right, let's move on to Best Actress.
Okay. Excuse me. So we got Best Actresses, okay? These are all very good. All very good. So the first one we have is Amy Adams from the movie Arrival, which we both just absolutely loved. I think you loved it more than I did, but still, it was really fantastic movie. And she pretty much carried that movie. No one else in that. I mean, Jeremy Renner did his thing. All the other characters supported and all that. She was the thing that kept that thing going because she essentially just worked against CG. There wasn't any aliens there. She was basically like in a cold cave, just putting her hands on a plate glass, green glass or some shit, and acting against it. And she's very believable. Felicity Jones, holy shit, this girl has come out of nowhere. I mean, she's been in some stuff. but like now she's popping up everywhere, playing little bit parts, playing main characters. And let me tell you, like in Rogue One, again, same thing. You have a different type of actress in there. They wouldn't be able to carry that movie. She's so fucking good, and you believe she's a badass, and you believe that she's doing this for her dad. She's doing this, and then eventually, once her dad dies, she's doing this for the rebellion, and for and to go against the Empire, and it's very believable. Um, your favorite and my favorite about the Ghostbusters, even though I didn't like the Ghostbusters, but my favorite thing was Kate McKinnon. Leslie Jones a close second, but Kate McKinnon was really funny, and everything she touches is gold. She's going to be like the new Will Ferrell, if not better. They just got to put her in some good stuff. Jennifer Goodwin for Zootopia, who played what was her Hops? What was her name?
Judy Hopps.
Judy Hopps. Judy Hopps. Gosh, I almost say Ginny. Okay, Judy Hopps. Again, it's really interesting that they have not ever, as far as I know, given awards or nominations to people that have done voice acting. So we've done that, I think, a couple times already now. But Jennifer Goodwin, fantastic as that character, so believable, so cute. Oh, don't call her cute. Sorry. Just fantastic. And
the best. Let me just say this first.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know about you, but for me, the women like stood out more than the men in the movies that we watched this year.
Big
by
time.
Far. I mean, it
By
dates all the way
far.
back to The Force Awakens, but yeah.
Now we just need to get some diversity in there now, But
right.
The women really kicked ass last year.
Yeah, go ahead with the winner.
Oh, so the winner is Amy Adams for Arrival. And she, like I said before, amazing. There's no way this movie works without her. Like she's shown her acting chops before, but I think this really stands out, and it really bums me out now that she's Lois Lane in the DC movies. I wish she could just get away from that and have someone else take over. Or
what's sad is that we have her winning a Chewie Award, nominated. She's not even nominated for an Oscar. Her movie, the movie that she's in, that she literally carries that film. Like, I mean, yeah, there's other actors in there, but it's basically like Tom Hanks' Castaway. Everybody else is Wilson, and the fact that her movie is nominated for Best Picture and she's not nominated for an Oscar, that's fucking crazy.
It blows my mind that there's nothing that girl can't do. I mean, I've seen her in some just in really interesting roles, and she kills it. Like in The Fighter, she plays Mark Wahlberg's girlfriend. She's fucking awesome in that.
Oh yeah, she is. She's great.
She's in The Office for a few episodes, playing Jim's girlfriend, and she's really cute and funny. And I was like, I kind of like her better than Pam. I mean, she's just very likable, and yeah. But she's fantastic. So yeah, she's definitely by far the winner in this category.
All right, so I got worst actress. So
which bums us out really that we had to do that. But there were some bad actresses there.
These weren't that easy to do. The worst actress. It was a lot easier to find worst actors for the nominations than there were worst actress. So, from the movies that we saw last year, the first nominee is Megan Fox from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. What was the tagline for that one? I don't know. Doesn't care. The movie sucked. So, it was Megan Fox.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she's just not good.
What was it called? What was it called? Out of the closet, out of the shadows.
Out of the sewers.
Fuck was it? Out of the sewers.
That would have made sense, right?
Sewers.
Out of the sewers.
Yeah, it would make sense, but
I think it's out of the shadows. I think
it's out of the shadows. Yeah,
it would have. See, what a dumb fucking movie. It should have been. It should have been out of the sewers.
What a dumb title. Yeah, it should have been Out of the Sewers.
Well, I guess they said shadows because it's ninja, but they're like terrible ninjas because they fight in broad daylight. So.
Well, and they're out of the sewers. They smell like shit.
In the first one, they were fighting in broad daylight in Times Square. So again, awful ninjas. Okay, the next nominee is Cara Delevingne. Is that how you say her name? From Suicide Squad.
Cara Delevingne, yeah.
She played Enchantress and the other name. I doesn't matter. Gina Carano from Deadpool. I like Gina Carano in a lot
I
of
like her
things.
too. That bums me out,
I
but
just
she
didn't
wasn't
like her
very
in
good in
this.
Deadpool.
And
Yeah,
she didn't really have a lot of say too or do in this movie. I just didn't like. She seemed a little stiff in this movie instead of
a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
So Malcolm Monroe from Independence Day Resurgence. I think she played the president's daughter, pilot
yeah,
in
not
this.
not great. They could have had many different other people play that. She
I think
was very
it borderlines that one probably.
unremarkable.
Yeah, that one probably borderlines bad script. Like, I'm sure she might be good in other things, but from what I saw, it wasn't very good. So, and the winner of the worst actress for 2017 goes to Cara Delevingne. She
Yes.
was going for something. She went for it, and it was not good. Um, whatever, whatever she was trying to do with Enchantress, like, man, it was not good. I mean, God, all the way, like everything, just it's like a domino effect of bad in that character design and everything.
Yeah, which is weird because the beginning of the Suicide Squad, that movie, we've talked about this, but the beginning we really liked. Like the first 20 minutes, we're like, oh, this is not bad. That they're building a team, you know. And when the Enchantress first showed up, I was like, holy shit, that's freaky. When she just zipped out and zipped back in with the files, I was like, oh my god, that's like fucking cool. Then I don't know what the hell happened to her. Like all of a sudden, she's talking to some dude in the bathroom and changes him, and then she turns in a weird like I Dream of Jeannie outfit or some shit, and it's
Well, it's
and
like
and she's doing that.
I Dream of Genie that was like playing in garbage.
Yeah, I don't know, but like you said, she totally swung for the fences and she failed miserably.
She
But
pulled the Jared Leto, basically.
yeah, totally, just over the top, ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes
Um,
over the top is pretty good, but and they're both pretty good actors and actresses too. Like Jared Leto's, like I was positive on Leto, and Cara Delevingne is pretty good as well. They just went for something; it just did not work.
I think she was a model before, and now she's doing acting. I think she was in Paper Towns or some kid movie uh, that I kind of liked her in. But yeah, it is kind of a bummer when you see people that are really good actors. I mean, there's a lot of good actors actually in Suicide Squad. I mean, on their own, doing their own thing, they're really good actors, and so it doesn't mean though you can. It's just like an all-star team like basketball. Just because you put Jordan and LeBron and all those people together doesn't mean they're going to play well together. So the Suicide Squad. I mean, when you look at it on paper, you're like shit, these are a lot of good actors, but the script, I mean, the direction and all that stuff are just terrible, and it's a bummer. And when you got the director going fuck Marvel, and then a few months later go, yeah, I made a mistake with that movie. It wasn't very good. It's like, hello. I mean, it's crazy. Um,
Yeah,
anyway, fuck
again.
Suicide Squad. But
So so before we move into the next category, we have an announcement to make in the middle of the Chewies. We are
yes,
actually going
promotion.
to
We're
be promotion
yes.
time. We are actually going to be on Good Day Sacramento again. This
Woohoo.
week, I think it is, right? Is it this week? Yeah, it's
Uh,
this week. This week
yeah,
coming
yeah.
up.
And what are we going to be doing?
We are going to be reviewing our first movie on live TV, which is scary, and hopefully I don't curse. So we're hoping the movie is good, but when it's bad, I tend to curse a lot. Like, for example, if we reviewed Suicide Squad and that was our first one, we might never be on the air again. Because the first words out of my mouth was, Jesus fucking Christ, this movie is terrible.
Yeah, it was. That's right. It was. No, so we're gonna be reviewing Logan. As far as we know, so far it's looking pretty good. But it's funny because when a movie doesn't do well, we could talk for hours about it. And yeah, like you said, we curse like a son of a bitch. But if it's really good, they're only giving us a few minutes to talk. So hopefully that movie's really good, so we could just say some good things about it and then get out of there.
Yeah.
But but we'll
So
but we'll
once again,
keep the
it's
spoiler review for later.
yeah. So once again, it's Good Day Sacramento. It's a 9 a.m.
On
Pacific
Saturday.
time hour on Saturday. Channel 31 if you're in the Sacramento area, and we'll be posting the link for the live feed.
Yes, on our Facebook.
Facebook and Twitter, and I'm not
Awesome.
sure.
And that's March 4th. March 4th.
Yes, March
So
4th,
yeah,
Saturday, March 4th.
awesome.
So check us out.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that'll
Well,
be good.
speaking of self promoting and things like that, let's go into our next category, and this is best marketing.
Yes. Now in this one, we actually don't have multiple. We don't have multiple movies. We're just there's just one movie that stood out and that had the best marketing, and then we go into the worst marketing. Go for it.
So the best marketing of 20 for the 2017 Chewie Award goes to Deadpool.
Oh
Everything
man,
about this movie from the beginning, the marketing, Ryan Reynolds on Twitter as Deadpool, everything was just fucking hilarious. It was Ted. You knew it was Deadpool before you saw the movie. You knew at least he got that right because breaking the fourth wall, all the advertising that they did, all the Twitter stuff that they did, the viral stuff that they clips that they showed, it was it got people excited for a movie that they would have if this movie came out without that marketing, it would not have made the amount of money that it did because
I
there was
think you're
people that
totally.
knew nothing about the comic books and wanted to see this movie.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, it started from the very beginning when they wanted to get this movie done years ago. It wasn't going to happen. Then they released that little footage at Comic-Con or wherever it was, and people went ape shit. And then the movie just got traction like you wouldn't believe. But he was nonstop marketing machine from day one all the way until the DVD release. And I think even after that, like he still has ads right now for like Oscars, like or like hey, nominate me or or think about me for the Oscars. So I mean, day one all the way to like well after the movies come out because the was out a year ago. He's still marketing and he's just I mean a marketing machine, and that movie like you said did gangbusters, and they didn't really have to advertise or spend a lot of money. They did all that on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, you name it, they did it.
Yeah.
And hysterical all the way along,
And that's why people who didn't know the comic books wanted to go see this movie because the marketing campaign was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, just absolute genius. And it played to the characters. So, I mean, he cursed, he did all sorts of things that were naughty, and he gets away with it. That's the
Right.
beauty part. He gets away with it. So that brings us to the worst marketing. The worst. Okay. And keep in mind there were a lot of bad marketing last year, but there was one that just kind of stood above all the rest because this is a movie that should have done billion and a half dollars easily just based on the title alone. But they botched the marketing, and that would have to be Batman v Superman. And if you remember that first trailer that came out, I remember just like something is off about this because it was like, wasn't it the one where Batman rolls up and Superman's like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "That's Bruce Wayne." Was
Yes,
that the
that's the
first
one.
trailer?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
right off.
then you heard Jesse Eisenberg right away.
Oh yeah, so right off the bat, I was like, "What the serious f? Like, you don't know who Bruce Wayne is? Like, what the fuck? You've been around here this long, and he's like this
You
billionaire
don't
playboy."
even need to be a mild mannered reporter to know who the fuck Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah, I just couldn't. That blew my mind. I just thought that was like a right away. I was like, "Uh oh, they fucked up on this script. They don't know what they're doing,"
I
and
mean,
that really scared me.
basically, Bruce Wayne is like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and like Bill Gates all rolled up into one, and you don't know
Yeah,
who he is.
yeah. That's just like yeah, exactly. That's just like you not knowing just those three people you just named.
Right.
It's like if you didn't know any of those people. Um. So
Well, it's
yeah,
not just.
just
It wasn't just a trailer. The other reason why this won best, or I'm sorry, worst marketing,
mhm.
is because every time the audience, us, said something about something that they did, they went back and fixed it. I mean, during the marketing for Batman v Superman, they were still apologizing for shit they did in Man of Steel.
Or and saying like, "Oh, we fixed it. Oh, we addressed that. Oh, we do that. We do this." It's like, how many different times did we say, just put the movie out, dude. Don't tell us that this movie is the next coming of God or something like that, because anything less than that was going to make us disappointed. And I think we left there thinking, oh, this was a lot better than we thought, but over subsequent viewings, we absolutely hate this movie now.
Yeah.
It does not hold up
So
whatsoever.
the third thing that really gave this thing the award is the fact that they released the coolest part of the entire movie, like 2 weeks before the movie, or 2 months before the movie came out, was the Batman fight scene.
Oh yeah, and they showed majority of it, right?
Yeah, they just showed it as a clip. Like most people just when most people just show a clip of something, if they're gonna do it, it's just an off conversation that doesn't give anything away, or it doesn't show some cool parts, right? Like so,
Okay,
this
so
movie ends
look
up
at
giving out like the best action sequence of the entire movie.
yeah, and look at the other side of the spectrum. Look at Marvel. What they did with Civil War. They had a huge sequence, but they only showed like you saw Spider-Man like flip and go, "Hi guys," and that was it. And people went just ape shit. But they didn't show Giant Man. They didn't show all the shit that they, a bunch of the action sequence. They left that for us to see when we got there. But in Batman v Superman, there's very little action in this movie. Honestly, there really isn't. It's called Batman v
It's like
Superman,
the
and yet
last
they
four
only
minutes,
fight.
like the
Yeah,
last
they
what
only
30 minutes.
yeah, they only fight. The two of them only fight for like I don't know what it was, 5 to 8 minutes. Someone counted. That's it. But a movie's called Batman v Superman, so very poor marketing, poor title, the whole works. Fuck that movie. Okay, so we're gonna move on to what we like to talk about a lot since we've started this podcast, and that's diversity. And so we looked at all the movies that we watched and decided what we thought were the four best, had the best diversity in the movie. So now, when we talk about diversity, we mean like all types of things: race, gender, you name it. Okay, squirrels, dogs. No. So we're the first one on my list is Rogue One. And Rogue One had a pretty good, I thought a good diverse cast. I mean, they had, I think Felicity Jones was the lead. They had Donnie Yen. They had, did they have a Middle Eastern gentleman? I can't remember. There's like an Italian gentleman, a
I
Hispanic
don't remember.
gentleman. I mean, just from all different types of ethnicities, and it worked. It wasn't stereotypical. It was just very well acted, and every one of those actors were amazing. Forrest Whitaker was in it. Um, then we look at Jungle Book. It had a pretty diverse cast. The voice acting. I think you had Idris Elba and Lupita. You had who else was in that?
The guy who played the villain, one of the villains in Breaking Bad, I forget his name.
Oh yeah.
He owned the chicken restaurant, but he was also
Oh yeah, Esposito I can't remember his name. Yeah, I love that guy. I love
of
that guy.
course you had
Breaking Bad.
Mowgli, who wasn't white. So
Mowgli. Yeah, mostly, and then there was a few white people in the cast, but I thought overall I thought it was pretty diverse. And then let's see, we have Ghostbusters. We chose that because there was four women involved. They were all amazing. They're all amazing actresses in their own right. They're all hilarious. Um, Leslie Jones is hysterical, and of course Kate McKinnon and all that. Who else was in that movie? Why did we? Uh, there was it was a pretty diverse cast though. Um, but
well,
I'm trying to
it was
I'm
mainly
trying to
because
remember.
the reason why we nominated it is because of what it was. It was flipping the script
Flipping
on
it.
Ghostbuster and just saying here we are, and I don't know. I've never seen Ghostbusters, the original one, in the theater when it was in the theater live, like when it in '85. I never saw it that way. So my viewing is completely different than other people, but I still love Ghostbusters. It's one of my all time favorite movies.
Yeah,
Um,
mine too.
but I laughed my asses off. I laughed my ass off in this movie. So I thought the jokes were something. I don't know. I just had a really great time. I think Kate McKinnon just completely stole it for me. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's why we gave Ghostbusters a nod and go into the last movie.
Yeah, and the last movie we have is Star Trek Beyond, which Star Trek has always been pretty good about having a pretty diverse cast.
Yeah.
But you have the one actor, I mean, who's amazing is Idris Elba, but and you hide him behind makeup. He's like one of the best looking guys like on the planet, and they like just put a bunch of prosthetics on him. But uh, you've got the guy who plays Sulu, Cal Penn, and
Not
just
Cal Penn.
Idris. What's his
Cal
name?
Penn
Oh
is
no, no,
Kumar.
shit. Oh, that's
John
Kumar.
Cho.
John Cho.
He's just named Kumar.
Oh my god. Fucking Kumar was in it.
they're
No,
never they're
Jesus.
never going to escape each other. It's always going to be Harold and
It's
Kumar.
always going to be Cal Penn and John Cho. I know. It's so funny. But also in that movie, I noticed that they did make Sulu. He was homosexual in that movie. He was gay, which we thought was such a really progressive and really cool thing to do. I think even George Takei was like against it or something. I was like, why?
He was.
You know.
He was.
But it was so cool because he had he met his husband and then his daughter, which was super cool. So it was a very progressive movie, and they did a lot of neat things in it. And it was a pretty diverse cast. So, but we can only have one winner, and the winner for best diversity in a movie, we chose Rogue One. And for all those reasons I said before, extremely diverse cast, and I don't think they were just Disney's doing a pretty good job right now in certain movies, anyway,
Right.
of choosing the right actors who just so happen to be also, diverse in ethnicity or gender. But every one of these characters are just fantastic, and they're not. What I love about it, it is not like the George Lucas Episode One where everything was, stereotypical. The voices and all that stuff were just really like over the top, and they probably were all done by white people too. I don't even think there were any ethnicities doing the voices, as far as I know, in Episode One. So Rogue One really capitalized on diversity, and we love that so much. So, and now you are going to tackle worst diversity.
Yeah. So all the great things we just said about all those movies about being diverse, these movies do the exact opposite. So the first one on our list is Doctor Strange. Now, before you get mad out there, this movie it is somewhat diverse. It is diverse actually. It is pretty diverse.
Hmm.
But the one thing we could not get over about this movie that really irked the shit out of us was the ancient one. Um,
Hmm.
the fact that she was just such a main character in the movie, and there was literally no reason. Actually, every reason that they gave to not give the part to an Asian man or a woman was completely ignorant and border probably racist too. That nobody wants to call them out on it.
Well,
So
here's a question. Here's a question for you though. Like, what if the director just said, "Hey, that's just the direction we wanted to go," and that was it. That was all he said. Would that be satisfying, or would you
no,
be like,
but it would still be a lot better than how they tried to explain it. Because every
"Oh
time they
man,
tried to explain it, it was worse.
it made him look even dumber"? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why Doctor Strange gets the nod for one of the first nominees. The other one, surprisingly, is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The main reason why this is in here, if you just think about the entire cast, they're all white and they're in New York, and except for that one black lady, that I think she's the
Head
head
minister or
minister,
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
the minister of magic in New York. There, everyone else is white, and you're in New York City, so kind of shitty right there. Um,
Yeah.
the next, even more surprising one is Finding Dory. Um, we gave a lot of best nods to voice acting for best category. Finding Dory is pretty white. If you look at their IMDb page and look at all the
Hmm.
voice actors and actresses in this movie, it's not very diverse, and they're fucking fish. You can't
You could get
find.
anybody.
I
Yeah.
mean, I could be a fish, and you wouldn't even know. You know why? Like, if I'm Asian or not? Why? Because I'm a fucking fish. Because it doesn't matter. So, like Idris Elba's in it again. Great actor. He's got a great voice. But that's like that. I didn't think anybody else was in it. So,
No, that's pretty much it.
surprisingly, Finding Dory, and we have Deadpool here as the rounding off the worst diversity for 2017. if you think about everybody in this movie, other than the taxi driver, there's just white people everywhere. Everywhere. There's white
The
people
tax
everywhere.
Boopinder was his name. Is that
Yeah.
Boopinder or something like that?
Yeah. Like even the even the henchman that he like almost kills, that guy's white.
Yeah,
Like he pulls his mask off, he's fucking white.
I think his
So
neighbor. I think or is not his neighbor. His roommate was
well yeah,
African
yeah,
American,
but
I
that's
think. But
two. That's
yeah,
two.
yeah, and it's such a small role, you know.
Yeah, so not a really great job. As great as you've done Ryan Reynolds as being Deadpool, and as great as your marketing was, you did a really shitty job being diverse. So, but our
Hopefully,
our winner for the worst diversity of 2017 goes to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. For a
yeah.
movie
Even the
this big, for a movie this big in New York City, and for me to not remember any distinguishable person of color other than that one black woman, it's pretty shitty. You're in New York. Get your shit together.
yeah, no doubt. Even the beasts were kind of diverse though, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, that was the most color they had was all the beasts. All right,
Get
so
your
let's move
shit
on. Let's move on
together.
to what's that? What'd
He
you
said, "Get your shit together." That's so funny. Fucking Warner
Get your
Brothers.
shit
All right.
together, Warner Brothers. What the fuck? So okay, so let's move on to best director.
Yes.
Okay, so for best director we have oh crap, I can't even say this guy's last name. Dennis
Villeneuve.
Villen.
Villeneuve. Villeneuve.
Okay, for Arrival. The Russo brothers for Captain America. Ron Clements and Joe Musker for Moana. Byron Howard and Rich Moore for Zootopia. So we actually have two animated directors on here.
That's a tough
Animation director.
category. That's a really tough category right there.
So all of these, other than Captain America, we felt like the things that really stood out to us from last year were the movies that were kind of unique. They weren't a sequel, kind of came out of nowhere, like Zootopia did, Moana, and Arrival. Just completely blew us away because we had no expectations going into those movies. The Russo brothers, of course, did an amazing job with Civil War. It's right up there in like the top five best comic book movies I've ever seen.
Yes.
Um, but um, the one that really blew us away because of the unique story and just the movie that pulled the carpet from underneath you or the rug, I think the saying is, was Arrival. Um,
Yes.
so the 2017 Best Director goes to Dennis, whatever his
Villeneuve.
last name is. Yeah, he gets.
You're all
y-
Villeneuve
Yeah,
that. Cordon
you
bleu.
win.
You win.
Yeah, you win. Congrats. Yeah. So, I mean, anything else you want to add to that? I mean, that's basically why we
I don't
gave it
know.
a
Like,
nod. It
is he
completely blew us away.
is he's nominated for an Oscar? Correct.
Yes, yes, he
He
is.
probably won't win because they cannot pronounce his name.
Well,
So
if he doesn't win, he should pick up this goddamn award here, and maybe we can
yeah,
get him on the
he
podcast.
should. He should. I will personally create. I will go to the trophy shop and make them design me a trophy that I will mail to him personally
And I will
for
spend that
sure.
entire time trying to say his last name.
But yeah, definitely good choice. Fantastic movie and his direction. I mean, obviously, just the movie's beautifully shot too.
Yeah,
By
it
the way,
moves
not a lot of
really
people
well
talk about
too.
that.
It
Yeah, it
moves
really
really well.
flows. Really
Some
flows well.
people like when they find a movie like this, some people kind of want to make it really slow and you're like dragging shit out. I'm on the edge of my seat like the second this movie starts and I want to know what the hell's going on. And when it finally happens, you're just completely blown away.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's fantastic. That's I mean, it's way. I mean, it's bigger than M Night Shyamalan could ever do. But it's the kind of movie that I don't know, when you hear his name you expect twists, but when you watch this movie you don't expect that ending. You don't see it coming. And it's so fucking good.
no, and here's the best part too is M Night Shyamalan for The Sixth Sense. The clues are laid in there, but they're not called out. In
Yeah.
this movie, the clues are in your fucking face. and you don't figure it out till the end.
Yeah,
They
it's
purposely
crazy.
call out the clues. They give you the clues of what the fuck is going on. You just you're just not ready for it. You know, like
Yeah,
I mean,
it punches you.
it's
It punches
yeah.
you in the gut. Just punches
If
you in the face.
go see it, go see it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, go see it, and then go back and listen to our review of it a few months ago. Um, so now we're gonna get to the worst director category, and funny enough, this was not that hard to put together. We put this together in like 5 seconds. We just named the movies that we hated or we did
And the
not like at
but the
all.
winner was not easy to find because there's a lot of shitty movies.
Yeah, there is a lot of shitty movies. In this particular movie, we actually did not. Well, okay. Anyway, I'll just go into this.
Yeah, give the
So,
nominees first.
yeah. So the nominees we have David Ayers. Pretty obvious. We did not like Suicide Squad. That is our longest podcast that we've ever done on that review because we just were so blown away by how dumb that movie was. Second, we have in the category is Zack Snyder for Batman v Superman. I don't even need to go into that. Roland Emmerich, that was a surprise because I know that you were really anticipating Independence Day resurgence, whereas I wasn't that. Like that movie in Apocalypse, I was after I saw the trailer, I wasn't into it. I just felt it had a funny feeling, but that movie stunk, and I was really disappointed because I had hope, but
I
yeah,
just wanted
that didn't
something
work out.
fun like the first movie. Like I know what I'm gonna get with a Roland Emmerich film, but the fact that you were bringing back Independence Day, like I wanted to see something fun, and I did not see something fun. It was fucking
No,
awful.
well, the problem is they were trying to take it seriously, and I was like, this you can't, like the first one was just without Will Smith. I don't know, it just kind of fell apart. I mean, you had Jeff Goldblum in there and he did his thing, but it just fell flat.
Yeah,
I don't know. He looked like he was phoning it in, honestly. Um,
probably did.
and then yeah, and then lastly, and this is a movie we did not review last year, but lastly, we have Duncan Jones, which just pains me to say because he's actually a really good guy and a really good director. But Duncan Jones for Warcraft. So, and we'll go on. Warcraft is it's just one of those things where like, number one, I felt like that movie did not need to be made.
That
They
movie.
do.
This is how bad this movie was. We didn't review it. We saw it, but I didn't. We didn't want to review it. It's that fucking bad.
Yeah, it's like you ball bad. It's like
Oh God.
it's a train wreck. And it's laughable. Like we literally were in the movie talking and laughing, and then laughing all the way home after that.
I don't
And now
understand how
that
anybody could have liked this movie.
well, and now that it's been, I mean, look, there's a lot of people out there that did love this movie, and I'm not going to call you a moron or anything like that. At least not on the podcast. So I literally, I can try my hardest right now, and I can't remember pretty much anything about that movie. Maybe the very end I can remember, and a couple of like small things. But honestly, that movie's so forgettable. That's the problem. It's that there's just so much. They're trying to build this universe, and if you did not play the games or anything like that, you're just lost. I did play the games a little bit, and I caught certain things,
It
but it
literally
wasn't
has.
enough.
Well,
It wasn't.
let's go into the winner because
So anyway, yeah. So the winner, or the loser, I guess you could say, the biggest loser, would be unfortunately Duncan Jones for Warcraft. I say unfortunate because he's a good guy. I've seen interviews with him. He's very passionate. It's just bummer that
he was going through some personal issues, I believe, before this movie started, and I
he
think
did,
it seems like it
yeah,
affected the movie.
yeah, and that's a bummer. But anyway, yeah, Duncan Jones for Warcraft. So now we're gonna go into our last two categories. So this is the biggie. Okay, we're gonna go into our best movie category, and we have four movies that we thought, and this is tough because I think the Academy Awards now does 10 for this reason because there's a lot of they want to keep a
Yeah, but
diversity amount of
we
movies.
don't see like 100 movies. We only see like
No,
20.
yeah, yeah, and we're only doing the movies that we watch. So no, you're not going to see Lion or Moonlight or La La Land or anything like that in our category. This is shit, and it's a nerdy podcast, people. So this is what we consider the four best movies of the year. So we have Captain America: Civil War. That's just a no-brainer. I mean, an amazing movie from beginning to finish. Fun, exciting. breathtaking, just some really cool shit in that movie. We have Arrival, which we've just completely gushed about all the way around. We have Rogue One in there, which was my most anticipated movie last year. I think it was still at my number one at the end of the year. Just my favorite movie. I actually liked it better than The Force Awakens. Just really unique, really cool standalone movie. I have a lot of faith now in Disney preserving the Star Wars brand if they keep going the way they're going, hiring the right people to do this stuff. Um, and then lastly, I have on the list is Zootopia, which at the beginning of last year, if you would have told me Zootopia would have been on that list, I would have laughed in your face because I watched the trailer and I was not interested in that movie whatsoever. The only reason why I went and saw it was like almost a month later, and I saw it was quietly climbing the charts and quietly people were talking about how amazing that movie was. And then I saw the RT rating, Rotten Tomato rating, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna take my kids to see this. We fucking loved it. Loved that movie. And we bought it on Blu-ray. Every time we see it on Netflix, we just watch it because it's on Netflix right now. Absolutely loved that movie. Gush about that movie. So, having said that, the best movie that we thought was the best movie of 2016, it's going to go to Arrival. Really, not a whole big surprise there because we've just gushed about that movie throughout this whole podcast. But that movie really for us was original. It blew our socks off. I mean, it's got a steady build up to the end, and it didn't fall flat. It didn't leave you going, "What the fuck?" They just toyed around with me, and then they just shit in my mouth at the end. You know, like Signs, Signs or something like that, where it's just all that build up, and then it just falls flat. Absolutely loved Arrival. Everything about it is fantastic. Supporting actors, the actor, the music, the cinematography is gorgeous. The script is totally original, amazing. Everything about it is awesome. It is like a near perfect movie. It's one of those movies, and you can watch it multiple times. Of course, I haven't seen it since, but I kind of wanted to get some distance before I watch it again, and now I'm ready to watch it again. But fantastic movie. What
Okay, so
about
we're
you? Do
gonna.
you have anything to say about this movies?
No, I mean man, I mean all those movies. This one was really tough because we loved all those movies. But again, like you said, the Arrival won it because it was original and it just the substance coming out of that movie, the moral code or not moral code, but like the moral questioning that movie raised
Yes.
for you was something that was just crazy. Like just thinking about the dilemma that she was in. So yeah,
You brought up something good because that was the one movie out of that list or any of the movies that we watched where we talked about it incessantly afterward of like, what would you do? Well, what would the other movies, like a Rogue One, oh, that was fucking cool seeing Vader, and that was like it. But Arrival just like it
Zootopia was
sparked.
close.
Yeah,
Zootopia was
Zootopia was
pretty
pretty close.
close.
Yeah, it
But
just
Arrival
sparked a
was
lot of
just ridiculous.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get to end the Chewies, our first annual Chewies. We've come to the end, to the last category, and it is worst movie of 2016.
We saved
So
the worst for last.
yes, yeah, we might have to rethink how we do these, but whatever.
Yeah.
So this is unlike the best movie category. This one was pretty easy to decide the winner, but here are the nominees. We have Suicide Squad, Independence Day, Warcraft, and Batman v Superman. Pretty much
and like X
identical
and
to
like
the worst
X and like
director.
X-Men on the outlier. Like we could add a fifth
Yeah,
one.
I
Yeah.
think if we had a biggest disappointment, that would probably win because that movie had so much going for it. I mean, every single X Men that Singer had done up until that point was gold. I mean,
Shit,
he set the bar.
that's a good
Like
category for next year. Biggest
biggest
disappointment.
disappointment. It's
Yeah,
probably going
yeah.
to be Justice League. I'll tell you right now, it's probably going to be Justice League.
You're
I
calling
don't
it.
even. Have to
You heard it. You heard it right here, folks.
No, you know
10,
what? You know what?
9 months.
I'm actually going to say no. I'm actually going to say it's going to be Wonder Woman. That's my guess.
Oh.
Would be biggest disappointment because I already expect Justice League to suck. But I'm hoping that Wonder Woman's good, and if that movie sucks, that would be my biggest disappointment.
Oh man, you heard it right here. He called it. So this is like 3.5 months away from Wonder Woman. So we'll see what happens. We have
Yeah,
some big
fingers
stuff. We have
crossed.
some yeah, we got some big stuff coming your way for Wonder Woman. But yeah,
All right,
we'll see what
so
happens. We'll have to remember that. We'll have to
yeah,
remember that.
so the winner for the worst movie, closing out the first annual Chewie Awards, the worst movie goes to Warcraft. And again, this movie is so fucking bad that we didn't even review it. So this is how bad this movie is. We've said incessantly on this show how awful Suicide Squad is, and it's our longest podcast. We couldn't even review Warcraft. It was so goddamn
Yeah.
bad.
It was one of those things where it's just so laughably bad. I didn't know how to review that movie.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
I didn't know where to start. Honestly, it's like the opposite of when you love something so much. You're like, oh man, I don't even know where to start. That movie was awesome. I would not know how to. The only way we'd be able to review this movie, I know how to do it. The only way we'd be able to review this movie is to do a drunk podcast, audio commentary. That's the only way we could do it. So that you'd have to pop the movie in, turn the volume down, and just listen to our commentary. That's the only way we'd be able to. But that would require us to fucking watch it again, and I don't think that's
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
not
happen.
doing that.
So
I'm not doing that.
maybe 10 years from now, when we're doing a mystery science theater type thing, and we pull that movie out because it's like awfully bad. We need to do that. But I don't know. I don't see that in the foreseeable future. This movie was terrible. So
Yeah.
don't
This,
watch it. Don't waste your time.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of a surprise maybe for people out there thinking it might have been Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad. No, it was Warcraft. It was so goddamn bad we didn't review it. That's how bad this movie was. Before we even came up with other nominees, we knew this movie was going to win that award.
Yeah, we
Like
had to
this
actually.
movie,
Yeah,
any
we
other
called it.
year, any other fucking year, it goes to like a co-winner / loser for the worst movie of the year between Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman. And we talked about those two movies ad nauseum for you guys.
Every podcast.
Yeah,
Every
every
podcast we
podcast.
talk about it comes up some
Warcraft
way
is
or
so
another.
goddamn bad that hands down it was worse than Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. That's how awful this movie is. It is
Yeah,
so goddamn bad. I think I've
and
said
it
so
did.
goddamn bad so many times, but I can't. There's no words to tell you how fucking bad this movie is.
It's awful all the way around. It's so incoherent. It's so the CG. I'm sorry. A lot of people said, "Oh, it's so fantastic." I'm like, it
Let's put it this
really.
way: if Blizzard made a game as bad as this movie, there would be no Blizzard.
All the subscribers would cancel. It, so
Would have never.
that's the biggest problem. And I've said off the podcast. I don't know if I've because we haven't really reviewed it at all, but the game I did love playing the game, and the cut scenes that they had, or the trailers, the movie trailers they would have for the video games were fucking awesome. So I didn't understand why they wouldn't make the movie like that. They tried to like swing for the fences. They tried to like, come on, let's just make it like let's make it like this world is real type of thing. It just didn't work. It was like Dungeons and Dragons bad movie. Like it was terrible.
No, Dungeons and Dragons I think was better.
Really, because I hated that movie too. I hated Aragon too. I hated it. Just
I didn't
really
see
terrible.
Aragon, but I
Terrible.
did see Dungeons and Dragons, and that movie is a lot better than this. It's a lot better than Warcraft.
Yeah, and it's a big budget movie. I think it made a lot of money overseas, which I guess that's their bread and that's their cup of tea, but not mine. It only did $40 million here, and it costs 150. So that tells you something. It was a big piece of shit all the way around.
Yeah,
But anyway, enough of that. You probably won't hear us talking about Warcraft ever again, and if we do, it's probably because
we might have to
uh,
rename the worst movie Warcraft.
the Warcraft,
Award.
right? The Warcraft
The
Award.
Warcraft
I mean,
Award.
yeah, yeah, totally. So we're going to be doing these yearly, which is really cool. It's kind of a fun idea. And we have a lot of really cool stuff coming your way. But don't forget to watch us on Good Day Sacramento on March 4th, I think around 9 a.m.
This
You can
Saturday.
catch us. Yeah, I think we'll have a link on Facebook like we did before. And if it goes well, who knows? We might see us do some other shit on there. but that's pretty exciting. And we have some other really cool podcasts and stuff, unique things that we have coming your way that we'll talk about more later in the year. So anything else you want to add? That's our first annual Chewie Awards, which is pretty cool.
We actually got through it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. We weren't booed off the stage, at least not yet.
We started the music early to get us off the stage.
That's because we control that shit. All right. Well, that was episode 69. Whoa, dude. 69, dude. That was episode 69 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Rick.
Until next time, folks, chew on that.
Later.